Russia has launched missiles at several cities in Ukraine, including Kiev, 2 days after the only bridge linking Russia with occupied Crimea was damaged in a blast. Here are the latest developments. At least 12 Ukrainian cities have been hit in missile strikes 2 days after a strategically important bridge linking Russia with Crimea was damaged in a blast. Kiev has been targeted for the first time in months, but explosions have also been reported in Ternopil and Lviv in the west, which has so far escaped the worst of the war. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia has targeted energy infrastructure across the country and that energy facilities in Kiev, Lviv, Dnipro, Vinnytsia, Zaporizhzhia and Kharkiv are among the places hit. Ukraine's military commander says Russia launched 83 missiles in total. It comes a day after Russian President Vladimir Putin accused Ukraine's security services of attacking the Kerch Bridge, although Ukrainian officials have not indicated whether their forces were behind the attack. The 19 kilometers, 12-mile bridge, the longest in Europe, is an important supply route for Russian forces fighting in Ukraine. Russia has used the bridge to move military equipment, ammunition, and personnel from Russia to battlefields in southern Ukraine. Mr. Putin described the blast as an act of terrorism aimed at destroying Russia's critical civilian infrastructure. Russian authorities partially reopened the roadway part of the bridge hours after the attack, but for light traffic only. The railway part of the bridge, where oil tankers caught fire, has also reopened. Ukrainian troops have continued to advance after breaking through Russia's defenses on the west bank of the Dnieper River in Kherson. They have retaken the village of Dubchny, and the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, says Ukrainian sources report that Russian occupation authorities are moving their families from the Kherson region to Crimea. Ukrainian troops have been attacking bridges, ferries and pontoons in recent weeks, attempting to make Russian positions on the west side of the river unsustainable, and thereby force a withdrawal. Also in the south, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, has called for the demilitarization of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Russian and Ukrainian sources have accused each other of shelling close to the plant, which is Europe's biggest nuclear facility. Russia's military took over the power station in early March, but it is still being operated by Ukrainian staff. Ukrainian troops took control of the key logistical hub of Lyman in Donetsk more than a week ago and have continued to push further east towards the region of Luhansk. The ISW says they have made substantial gains in the area. Russian reports suggests their next target may be the city of Kreminna. Analysts say the loss of Lyman is a major setback for Russia. Russian forces have been trying to push forward in Bakhmut, but reports suggest they have been repelled by Ukrainian troops. The latest fighting follows a major Russian defeat in the east. Ukraine says it recaptured 6,000 square kilometers, 2,317 square miles, of territory from Russia in early September, when it forced back Russian units in the Kharkiv region. Russian troops withdrew from the key towns of Izium and Kupiansk, saying that the retreat would allow its troops to regroup. Both towns were major logistical hubs for Russian forces in Donbass. 4 regions of Ukraine that are partially or almost completely occupied by Russia being annexed by the Russian Federation. It follows self-styled referendums in Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson and Zaporizhzhia, held between 23 and the 27th of September. President Vladimir Putin has said that Russia will use all the forces and resources it has to liberate the 4 regions. In an address to the Russian people, Mr. Putin said his country had various weapons of destruction, adding, "I'm not bluffing." The annexations follow a partial mobilization of about 300,000 Russian reservists. Russia invaded Ukraine on the 24th of February, but Ukrainian forces retook large areas around Kiev in early April after Russia abandoned its push towards the capital. Areas in the west of the country, including Lviv, have seen missile attacks but no attempt by Russian forces to take and occupy ground. The Russians have suffered heavy losses since the invasion began, and significant quantities of Russian weaponry have also been destroyed or captured. By David Brown, Bella Horrell, Dominic Bailey, Mike Hills, Lucy Rogers, Paul Sargent, Alison Trousdale, Troll Armadade, Mark Bryson, Zoe